Margaret Thompson had always been the rock of her family, even after her husband passed away 5 years ago from a sudden heart attack. At 68, she lived in a cozy ranch-style house in suburban Denver, Colorado, surrounded by memories and her loyal golden retriever, Buddy. Buddy wasn't just a dog. He was her companion, her walking buddy on crisp autumn mornings, and the one who curled up at her feet during those long, lonely evenings watching reruns of The Golden Girls. Margaret's 3 kids, John, the eldest at 42, a real estate agent, always chasing the next big commission. Sarah, 39, a marketing exec with a sharp tongue and sharper ambitions. And Mike, the baby at 35, a mechanic who never quite grew out of his reckless phase, had grown distant over the years. They visited sporadically, mostly when they needed something, like money for John's latest investment flop or Sarah's kids' private school tuition. Lately, the siblings had been whispering about Margaret's declining health, though she felt fine, just a bit arthritic. They eyed her house worth a pretty penny in the booming market and talked about putting her in assisted living to free up assets. Margaret overheard them once during a family barbecue, but she brushed it off as stress talking. Buddy, sensing her unease, would nuzzle her hand, his big brown eyes saying everything words couldn't. One weekend while Margaret was at her bridge club, the kids struck. John had found a buyer online, a quick cash deal for $500. Mom doesn't need the hassle, Sarah justified as they loaded Buddy into Mike's truck. He's getting old anyway, just like her. Mike felt a twinge of guilt, but the others convinced him it was for the best. They drove Buddy to a parking lot meetup, handed him over to a stranger in a black SUV, and pocketed the money, splitting it 3 ways. "We'll tell her he ran away," John said with a shrug. "She'll get over it." When Margaret returned home, the house felt emptier than ever. Buddy's leash hung untouched by the door, his food bowl half full. She called his name, searched the yard, then the neighborhood, her heart pounding. Panic set in as she dialed her kids. "Have you seen Buddy?" she asked, voice trembling. John feigned concern. "No, Mom. Maybe he got out." But something in his tone didn't sit right. That night, Margaret cried herself to sleep, clutching Buddy's favorite toy, a worn-out squeaky ball. Little did her children know, the buyer wasn't just any stranger, and the revenge brewing would shake their world. The next morning, Margaret woke up with puffy eyes and a resolve she hadn't felt in years. She wasn't buying John's story. His voice had cracked just a bit too much on the phone. After brewing a strong cup of coffee, she sat at her kitchen table, staring at Buddy's empty bed. "Where are you, boy?" she whispered, tears welling up again. Determined, she grabbed her laptop, an old Dell her grandkids had set up, and started searching local lost pet groups on Facebook. She posted Buddy's photo, a goofy shot of him mid-fetch in the park, with a plea. "Missing my best friend. Reward if found." Responses trickled in, sympathetic comments, shares, even a few false leads, but nothing concrete. By afternoon, frustration mounted. She called Sarah next. "Honey, did you let Buddy out while I was gone?" Sarah snapped back, "Mom, we're busy." "Maybe you forgot to latch the gate." Mike was evasive too. "Nah, I haven't been over." Their dismissiveness fueled her suspicion. That evening, Margaret drove to John's house unannounced. He answered the door in his golf attire, looking annoyed. "Mom, what are you doing here?" She pushed past him. "Tell me the truth about Buddy." John sighed, exchanging glances with his wife. "Fine, we sold him. You can't handle a dog anymore. It's for your own good. Margaret's world spun. You what? He's family. Tears streamed down her face as John explained the quick sale, claiming it was to help with expenses. Sarah and Mike arrived soon after, called by John. They ganged up. Mom, you're getting forgetful. Assisted living would be better, and the house sale could fund it. The betrayal hit like a freight train. They wanted her home, her independence. Buddy was just collateral. Devastated, Margaret stormed out, driving aimlessly until she pulled over in a park, sobbing. But amid the grief, anger sparked. She wouldn't let them win. Back home, she scoured online classifieds, tracing the ad John had posted. It was vague, but she noted the date and location. Then, a breakthrough. A comment on her Facebook post from a neighbor who'd seen Mike's truck with Buddy inside. Piecing it together, she realized the sale was premeditated. Exhausted but fueled by rage, she vowed to find the buyer. Unbeknownst to her, the black SUV belonged to Elias Grant, a reclusive tech billionaire from Boulder who'd lost his own dog recently. He'd bought Buddy on a whim, drawn to the ad's photo, and when he saw Margaret's viral post, recognition dawned. This wasn't over. Far from it. Elias Grant wasn't your typical billionaire. At 55, he'd made his fortune in AI software, selling his company for billions before retreating to a sprawling estate in the Rockies. He shunned the spotlight, preferring solitude with his hobbies, hiking, coding personal projects, and spoiling his pets. His last dog, a golden retriever named Max, had passed away months ago, leaving a void. Scrolling pet ads one night, he spotted Buddy. Those soulful eyes reminded him of Max. Impulse buy, he thought, wiring the $500 without haggling. When Buddy arrived, Elias noticed the dog's unease, whining at the door. "Miss your mom, huh?" he murmured, petting the soft fur. Buddy perked up at walks but seemed lost. Then, Elias's assistant forwarded a trending Facebook post. Margaret's plea, complete with photos and a heartbreaking story. Comments exploded, people tagging animal rights groups, calling out heartless kids. Elias dug deeper, finding the sale ad linked to John Thompson's profile. A quick background check, perks of tech connections, revealed the family dynamics, greedy siblings eyeing inheritance. Outraged, Elias contacted Margaret anonymously via email. "I think I have your dog. Meet me at Washington Park tomorrow at noon." Margaret's heart raced reading it. Was this a scam? But hope won out. She arrived early, scanning benches nervously. Elias approached, Buddy on a leash, bounding toward her. "Margaret?" "I'm Elias Grant," she gasped. Everyone knew his name from business news. Buddy leapt into her arms, licking her face as she knelt, tears flowing. "Oh, my boy. Thank you, thank you." Over coffee at a nearby cafe, Elias explained everything. "Your kids sold him like he was junk. I lost my dog too. Know the pain." Margaret poured out her story. The betrayal, the pressure to sell her house. Elias listened, his jaw tightening. "That's elder abuse, plain and simple. We can fight back." He revealed he'd recorded the handover, standard for his security team, and had timestamps proving the kids' involvement. "But let's make it hurt where it counts. Their reputations and wallets." Margaret hesitated. "I don't want revenge, but justice." Elias smiled. "Call it karma." He proposed a plan. Expose them publicly, involve lawyers for fraud claims since Buddy was legally hers. As they parted, Buddy trotting happily beside Margaret, she felt empowered for the first time. Her kids had no idea who'd bought him, or the storm coming. Elias, with his resources, would ensure they regretted every selfish choice. Back home with Buddy, Margaret felt a mix of joy and simmering fury. Elias's plan was bold. Use his influence to amplify the story. First, he connected her with a top family law attorney, Rebecca Lawson, who specialized in elder rights. "This is textbook coercion," Rebecca said during their video call. "We'll file for emotional distress and seek restitution." Margaret nodded, steeling herself. Meanwhile, Elias's team dug into the siblings' finances. John's shady real estate deals, Sarah's embezzlement whispers at work, Mike's gambling debts. Leverage, Elias called it. The kids, oblivious, pushed forward with their scheme. John listed Margaret's house without her consent, forging a power of attorney. Sarah spread rumors at family gatherings. Mom's losing it, sold the dog herself, and forgot. Mike, the weakest link, started feeling guilty, but the others shut him down. "Stick to the plan," John barked. They scheduled an intervention at Margaret's, planning to pressure her into signing over the deed. But Elias struck first. He anonymously tipped off a Denver Post reporter about the story, providing evidence: the sale recording, emails, and Margaret's statement. The article dropped online. "Billionaire buys sold family dog, exposes greedy siblings plot against elderly mom." It went viral, shared by influencers and dog lover groups. Comments flooded. "Disgusting. #Justice for Margaret." Elias even posted subtly on his rarely used X account, boosting visibility. The backlash hit hard. John's clients bailed, citing ethics. Sarah's boss called her in for a review after anonymous tips about her character. Mike's shop lost business as locals boycotted. Panic set in. They traced it back to Elias. "Who the hell is this guy?" Sarah yelled during a frantic group call. John tried damage control, calling Margaret. "Mom, this is a misunderstanding. We'll buy you another dog." But she was done. "You sold my heart. Now face the music." Rebecca filed the lawsuit. Fraud, emotional abuse, seeking $500,000 in damages, plus Buddy's value at $10,000 for sentimental reasons. Elias funded it quietly, his revenge subtle but sharp. At the intervention, Margaret confronted them with the lawyer present. "You thought I'd roll over?" "Elias Grant bought Buddy, and he's helping me fight." Their faces paled. Mike broke first. "I'm sorry, Mom. It was their idea." Chaos ensued as accusations flew. Margaret stood tall, Buddy at her side, watching her kids unravel. The revenge wasn't just legal. It was emotional, stripping their facades bare. The lawsuit dragged on for months, but with Elias's backing and mounting public pressure, the siblings caved. They settled out of court. $300,000 to Margaret, plus legal fees, and a public apology posted on social media. John lost his real estate license temporarily. Sarah got demoted, and Mike entered counseling for his issues. The money helped Margaret secure her home and even donate to animal shelters. But the real win was the family reckoning. Dinners became mandatory, with genuine efforts to rebuild trust. Mike visited most, walking Buddy with her, sharing quiet regrets. Margaret thrived, volunteering at a local senior center, sharing her story to empower others. "Don't let family walk over you," she'd say, Buddy wagging his tail beside her. Elias became a friend, inviting her to his estate for playdates with his new pup. "You reminded me life's about connections," he told her over barbecue one summer evening. Years later, on Buddy's 12th birthday, Margaret reflected in her journal. "They sold my dog, but fate bought him back. with interest. The revenge had been sweet, not vengeful destruction, but a lesson in humility. Her kids, chastened, grew closer, realizing blood ties meant more than bank accounts. And Buddy? He lived out his days in bliss, never knowing the drama, just loving his mom unconditionally. Thank you so much for watching this story till the end. I hope you enjoyed it and maybe even learned something from it. If you'd like to hear more stories like this, full of life lessons, drama, and emotions, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you'll never miss an update. Your support means the world, and it helps me keep bringing you more inspiring and unforgettable stories. Stay tuned because more amazing stories are on the way.